Turning back now to First Alert Weather as we take a live look at Philly International, where the FAA has issued a ground stop until 5 o'clock as thunderstorms move through the area.
Well, let's check in with First Alert Meteorologist Brittney Shipp for the details on that with this ground stop at the airport and a lot of activity we know on radar.
Yeah, when I show you the radar, you will fully understand why there's a ground stop at the airport. Not only are we dealing with the intensity of all of these thunderstorms, but it looks like we just got a tornado warning coming into the area. So this is over Hereford, Douglas. You are now under a tornado warning. So we are switching into our tornado warning coverage. If you live in this area that is now highlighted here, let's go ahead and query this. We want you to know that we are dealing with a tornado potentially in your neighborhood. This tornado warning is going to stay in effect until 5:15. We have about 30 minutes. This is affecting counties of Berks and Montgomery. I'm going to just walk over here to my laptop so I can start to track this tornado for you. But again, we now are under a tornado warning for parts of Berks and also Montgomery. I want to put a tracker on this and actually start looking at the potential of exactly where this is. So one thing that we like to look at, and it's showing up, we look at velocity mode. This tracks the rotation potentially of what we're seeing. When we look at this, take a look at this, Brown Mill, Earlville, Amity Gardens. This is tracking to the east around 30 miles per hour. Let me double check how fast this is tracking. It looks like this is tracking at east at 20 miles per hour. So what we're going to do is update our tracking tool so we can give you down to the minute information and look at some of our neighborhoods here. So again, we want to overemphasize the dangerous situation that we are now dealing with. Do you see this particular area where we have the green and the red coupling together? This is Woods Edge, 562. Where you start to see the red and where you start to see the green, that is what we look for. It's a couplet. It's an indication that we are dealing with rotating winds here. So 73, Shanesville, out towards Betcherville, Douglas, Colebrookdale, 100, all of these areas. If you live in this neighborhood, you only have a few minutes to enact your safety plan. You want to head down to the lowest level in your home. Hopefully you have a basement. You want to get away from any windows. So again, this is tracking here to the east at 20 miles per hour. Now I'm going to step off and put a tracker on this so we can make sure everyone within this tornado warning stays safe. So here we go. We're going to track this here to the east. If I start calling off your particular neighborhood, it means now is the time you need to move. You need to head down to the lowest level of your home. Brookview at 453, Boyertown Medical Services Center 455, Colebrookdale. You are going to be dealing with some of these strong thunderstorms potentially producing a tornado. 456 Boyertown, 458 for Douglas, 501 New Hanover. So again, if I call off your neighborhood, it means potentially a tornado is heading your way. I'll send it over to First Alert Meteorologist Robert Johnson. I know you're checking the National Weather Service chat. Robert, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I certainly do. And Brittany, as you were stepping on the air, getting ready to do your main weather segment, we saw a tornado warning get issued from the National Weather Service for part of Berks County into the northwesternmost portion of Montgomery County until 5:15. The National Weather Service chat room was also indicating some areas of rotation just to the southeast of Fleetwood in Berks County. So we've been watching these storms very closely. Well, something I want to do right now is zoom in on this cell and slide in a little bit closer. And there's a lot of different properties we can use with Doppler radar so that way we can accurately detect these storms. So here it is. You see the velocity mode. Those are winds going to and away from the radar. And when the areas of red and the areas of green are really close together, that indicates areas of rotation. And this is information coming in just now from the National Weather Service. I'll read it to you. That at 4:47 p.m. and the time now is 4:52 p.m. if you're watching this, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight-line wind damage was located near Birdsboro, or 9 miles to the east of Reading, and it's moving to the east at approximately 20 miles per hour. So this is what I'll do. I'll widen out this shot, move it over just a bit, just to give you a better indication of where the system is moving. Again, sliding to the east at 20 miles per hour, so you definitely don't have a lot of time. So here's a track on this. So as mentioned, the time right now, 4:52, and it'll be in Congo at approximately 5:09. and areas near there at approximately 513 Valley, 513 for you. So this is very quickly moving to the east at 20 miles per hour. Something else that we also want to do is be able to show you different products on the radar. Something we do like to show you is something called the correlation coefficient. This is where we can potentially see a debris ball. Typically, you would see a bright blue area where you see the area of rotation if there is debris being lofted into the air, and that's not what we're seeing right now. Thankfully, that's good news. Still, you want to get to your safe place immediately. Something we also like to show you are wind shear tracks, areas of rotation, and we have seen areas of rotation with this storm even before the tornado warning was issued. Something else I also want to show you too is good safety tips, so that way you know where to go. And over the past several years, our region has gotten a lot of practice, unfortunately, with where to go for tornado warnings. But if you are in that red polygon, you want to get to the lowest floor of your home. You want to move away from windows and doors, put as many barriers between you and the outside as possible. Shelter in an interior space or room. If you have an interior closet, that's a good space to go. You want to evacuate any mobile homes if they're nearby or if you're inside of one. And you do not want to seek shelter under an overpass. The winds just enhance when you're in that type of situation. So I'll take you back to the wide radar shot before we toss things over to Brittney first. But just to show you the wide radar shot here, yes, we have the tornado warning in place, but of course we have many other severe warnings that are in place throughout our region, with multiple severe thunderstorm warnings as well as multiple flash flood warnings. I'll take you back to that tornado warned storm and show you that we still have the warning that continues to be in place. And one more time, we'll put it up for you. It's for portions of Berks County into the northwesternmost portion of Montgomery County. That's in place until 5:15. And of course, Brittney, it's not just this tornado warning. We have multiple warnings in place. Please tell us what you've got.
Yeah, we're going to look at the big picture here, and that is lots of locations are dealing with severe thunderstorm warnings. We potentially might have a secondary tornado warning, but I'm going to focus on the first one we have here at Douglas up towards Hereford. If you live in this area, which is Berks and Montgomery, you want to be taking cover here. One other thing we like to do is we like to go into our street level mode, so we get very close to exactly where this storm potentially is. We're going to switch over to our velocity mode. Do you see where this couplet is right here? This is near Cole Brookdale, near 100, up towards 73, up towards Boyertown. This is a pretty well-defined couplet. This is exactly what we look for. We know everything is tracking to the east at 20 miles per hour. So that means areas like Douglas, Congo. I'm going to actually zoom in a little bit closer just so we can get in closer, and I want to go street level. This is what we've been talking about. So areas like Boyertown Junior High West, Highland Avenue, Madison Street, 6th Street, Holly Road, you potentially could be dealing with a tornadic situation heading into your neighborhood. You need to enact your safety plan. So that definitely includes getting away from any windows. You want to head down to the lowest level of your basement. We want to put a tracker on this again because that really helps us determine exactly where this is moving, and we're going to call out a few more neighborhoods. So I'm going to basically put a tracker on this couplet. We're going to push it to the east here. We already know that it's moving at 20 miles per hour. The thing that gets very concerning is when we start to see schools popping up, because I know a lot of schools have summer camp programs. Hopefully they've already pushed everything inside. They have these aftercare programs, and some of these thunderstorms are tracking in that direction. So Boyertown East Junior High, Layfield, Hoffmansville, Anise, New Hanover, Upper, Frederick Elementary School, and the timing is here. So for Douglas, it's at 5 o'clock. Right now, it's 4:56. If you're closer to Congo, 5:04. Boyertown East Junior High, 5:06. 5:07 for Layfield, 5:09 Hoffmansville, 5:13 for Anise and New Hanover, Upper Frederick Elementary School. So again, we're in our rotation mode that shows us potentially if we're dealing with any rotation. I know one other thing, Robert, that you can look at is our correlation coefficient. And that tends to show us if we're going to have a debris ball that is flying. We can look at our radar, one of our tools, and see that as well. So Robert, we'll send it to you to see if you're tracking that.
Absolutely, Brittney. So many tools that we have at our disposal. So to reset the scene here, the time now 4:57 as we near the top of the 5 o'clock hour. We do have a tornado warning that's in place for Montgomery County and Berks County until 5:15 for about another, 18 minutes or so. And as Brittney mentioned, we can check out various products with our radar. So as we zoom in, I'm not seeing anything that shows any indications of debris. This correlation coefficient, just a fancy term for debris ball. And as mentioned earlier, if we were seeing any debris, we'd see a tight little circle of blue, and that's not what's popping up here. Something else that I do want to show you, and this is new information just coming in to our weather center, is a flash flood warning that's just been issued just as Brittney was talking. So of course we have the area of yellow, that's the severe thunderstorm warning. The red is a tornado warning, and just coming in now, we have a flash flood warning, the area in green. That flash flood warning is in effect until 9 o'clock for Berks County, Chester County, and Montgomery County. And I know that many times tornado warnings get all the headlines, but please know that severe thunderstorm warnings, those straight line winds, and also flash floods can do lots of damage as well. Okay, I'll take you back to our latest radar sweep and focus in on that tornado warning. And this new scan just came in. You might have seen it as I was moving the radar shot a little bit over. What I want to do now is back up this radar shot just a bit and show you that as we walk it back over the past, 30 minutes or so, you see a little bit of a notch just to the southwest of Douglas where we were noticing a little bit more rotation. But as I fast forward this radar shot, and that was from 4:44, fast forward to the present moment, 4:59, and we're not seeing quite as much of a notch on the radar. But are we seeing anything on the velocity scan, the twisting and turning of the winds? And we're still seeing a little bit of that. It's not quite as strong. These storms still pushing to the east and northeast, it looks like now, at approximately 20 miles per hour. So we'll put a track on this to the northeast at approximately 20 miles per hour. And it will be in Clayton at about 5:12, and something to be aware of if you are in that direction. Again, these are approximate times, and the warning is in place until 5:15. We'll see if the National Weather Service decides to extend that warning or decides to get rid of that warning. But that's certainly something that we've been seeing. And the green really close together, a really tight area of rotation. But then as we slide this image over to the current moment, even though the red and the green is close together, it's not quite as compact. Still, I don't want you to get out of your safe place if you're in this portion of the region, but still, something we're noticing is that the couplet, the rotating winds, not quite as strong. That's a good sign. I just don't want you to let your guard down just yet. Let me get some town names here on here for you and talk about some streets. So we have District, we have Valley, we have Pikeville, the area of rotation just to the east and northeast of you, sliding in a little bit closer. We have Clayton, as mentioned. So if you're hearing me in those areas, you definitely want to be in your safe place. Okay, let's go back to the regular radar shot. And I want to zoom this out even farther and show you the other storms that are across the area. And you see that we still have storms pushing through Berks County, the Lehigh Valley, into Chester County, and also some strong cells that continue to slide their way down into Burlington County too, and continue to press into the southernmost portion of Burlington County. Before I go back over to Brittney, because I know she's been tracking this as well, I want to show you some wind shear tracks, areas of potential rotation. And what I'm seeing right now is that I'm still noticing some areas of rotation as storms are pushing through Newcastle County and Delaware. There's no tornado warning there at this point. However, we could still have another warning that could be issued. So we're tracking the one cell to the north in Berks County and Montgomery County with that severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warning in effect until 5:15, but also tracking some rotating winds that are pushing through Newcastle County in Delaware. And Brittney, what a day. We've seen it all. I mean, we've seen these strong winds, we've seen flooding downpours, and this just adds insult to injury from what we already saw yesterday.
That's right. And this has been the concern, which is why we issued the first alert that started at 2 p.m. And essentially this goes all the way until 10 p.m. tonight. We still have this tornado warning. So the National Weather Service has not yet canceled this early. So we're going to go with this until at least 5:15. If you live in that intersection between Berks and Montgomery, you are under this tornado warning. You want to enact some of your safety tips, which includes heading to the lowest level of your home. Hopefully you do have a basement. One thing that we really like to do besides look at our radar shot is actually show you you one particular tool. We continue to mention it, and it is our velocity. It is our rotation tracker. So we were originally looking at this area, and you would look for a really bright couplet, which we're not quite seeing as much anymore as these storms continue to track here to the east at around 20 miles per hour. It looks like we are going to have some live picture coming in, and if the producer could just repeat one more time exactly where this is. South Coventry Township, just a little bit south of where that tornado warning is. We do know that this is moving to the east at around 20 miles per hour. It looks like this box has shifted a bit. I'm going to just query this one more time just to see if there's any updated information. When we do a query on this, we can see some of the notes from the National Weather Service, and it is saying at 5:02 a severe squall line capable of producing both the tornado and extensive straight line wind damage was located along a line near Lyons and Gilbertsville, moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. So we know that this is moving to the east still at 25 miles per hour, but it does look like the shape of the tornado warning is now extending a little bit further to the south. So we're going to go ahead and call off a few more names that are within this particular tornado warning, because again, that is the most important thing, is that if you are inside of this tornado warning, it means you need to be taking cover and you need to get away from any windows in your home. You need to head to the lowest level. So I just want to zoom in here and show you. Looks like my computer is freezing a little bit, but I do want to show you exactly where some of these neighborhoods are, if we can get in street level, that are included in this particular tornado warning. Areas like Pleasant Run, New Hanover, it looks like Brookview. So any of these neighborhoods, if you're in this red box here, and we know that this is moving to the east at now 25 miles per hour, you need to continue to enact your safety plan, even if you're near this red line. So that includes areas like Pennsburg, Southward, because occasionally what happens with the National Weather Service is they start to extend as the thunderstorm cell continues to track. Let's say it's tracking to the east at about 25 miles per hour, and it cuts off right here. Sometimes if they notice that this is staying well organized, they will extend this tornado warning coverage box, and it will then include areas like Pennsburg, which is under a severe thunderstorm warning at this time. This is heading close to 476 right now. We potentially could have a thunderstorm cell producing a tornado crossing over an interstate at 5:05 over the evening commute. Until we see this tornado warning expire, which right now we still have 10 more minutes, the concern is anywhere in this area for us to potentially see a dangerous situation. This tornado warning box extends all the way down just to the south of Douglas. We're still dealing with intense thunderstorm activity with this particular thunderstorm cell. And again, as we continue to check in with the National Weather Service from our computer, from our phone here, that lets us know the latest information. It looks like First Alert Meteorologist Robert Johnson has an update for us. Robert.
Yes, Brittany, as you were doing a great job tracking that tornado warning and talking about how it's all shifting and turning, I was checking out information from the National Weather Service. I'll put back our regular radar view here. And the National Weather Service is saying this, that their plan is to let the tornado warning expire at 5:15, which I can see why they're doing that, because let me take you back to the radar and show you, yes, this is the regular radar shot we're used to seeing, but if I show you the velocity scan, it's changed a lot since this tornado warning was first issued at 4:47 p.m. So you see the areas of green and red really close together, though not as close as they once were. When this tornado warning was issued at 4:47, and I'll walk it back a little bit, you see the red and the green very close together. And that was at approximately, let's check the time there, 4:46. The red and the green very tightly compact. But then as we slide this view to the present view, now we're not seeing quite as much tightly compact rotation there. For our producer, please let me know what we're seeing right here. Hard to see on my monitor. And this is our King of Prussia cam. You can certainly see those dark, dreary skies over King of Prussia, where you're certainly getting some downpours there. You certainly got them yesterday. Portions of the PA suburbs saw anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain, and now even more downpours are coming your way. But my point in saying all of this is that the National Weather Service is going to allow this tornado warning to expire at 5:15 because we're not noticing quite as much rotation. And even as I say all of that, I see a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that's now in place, and we will get this box ready for you. This is just coming in As you're seeing it, we're seeing it too. And a brand new severe thunderstorm warning now in place until 5:45 for Berks County, Lehigh County, Montgomery County, into Northampton County. And this is something that the National Weather Service does quite often. And I will move this box. That way you can see it a whole lot better. So we'll clear this view because I know there's a lot going on here, but we want to make sure we give you the best information possible. So we'll move this over because I think this is really important for us to explain. So a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 5:45. Basically, this is going to replace the tornado warning. Sometimes when we have areas of rotation, they diminish and then they strengthen a bit. What the National Weather Service is indicating is that we have really strong straight line winds, little bit of rotation, winds gusting up to 60, some quarter-sized hail is possible. They're also saying a tornado is possible too. But as of right now, their plan, the National Weather Service's plan, is to allow the tornado warning to expire at 5:15. Don't get out of your safe place until then, but still we want to keep you posted on that. For this image right here, our producer, please let me know what we're seeing in that box. Well, that went away. That's okay. That's okay. Hard to see on this monitor, but we'll zoom back into the tornado warning just to give you the view. And that was Allentown that we're seeing right there as we see those dark and dreary skies as the storm continues to push even farther into the Lehigh Valley. Okay, let's take a look at this tornado warning right here, still in effect until 5:15, also noticing some areas of hail. We'll go back to our regular velocity mode just to show you where some areas of rotation are. And we're still noticing some areas of rotation near District as the storm continues to slide to the northeast. But again, they will allow the warning to expire at approximately 5:15. Still, these are really strong storms that are pressing throughout our neighborhoods, and these storms are making their way into Allentown, making their way through the Lehigh Valley, and eventually pressing into the uppermost portion of Berks County too, through Percy and near Doylestown as well. So a lot to watch for as we go throughout the next several hours. I want to take a wider view of the radar though, because even though we've been focusing on that storm, there are still plenty of other storms we have to focus on, some of them moving into Delaware at this moment. And one thing I want to show you are some wind shear tracks. We've been talking about that, and I've been showing this to you since about 4:15 earlier today, that as storms are crossing over the Chesapeake, pushing into Newcastle County in Delaware, and eventually sliding into Salem County, there is a little bit of rotation within those cells as they're crossing through eastern Maryland into Newcastle County. No tornado warning there. There are still strong storms with gusty winds, but it's something we still want to keep you first alerted about. Still, that tornado warning is in place for Berks County and Montgomery County for another 5 minutes. Brittney has more information about what we should do if you are under a tornado warning, whether it be now or in the future. Brittney.
That's right, because we are not in the clear. We have this first alert in effect until 10 p.m. And Robert, that's great. You mentioned an entirely different area that we are watching that is of concern. So although technically we still have our tornado warning for another 4 minutes, we do want to go over these tips with you. You want to get to the lowest floor of your home. You want to move away from any windows and doors. You want to shelter an interior space or room. You want to evacuate mobile homes and do not seek shelter if you know someone driving under an overpass. We want to point these out because, again, we could see essentially another tornado warning issued before we are done with this entire storm system. So the threat is still there. Now I want to switch you over and show you the final couple of minutes of this tornado warning that is still indeed in effect until 5:15 for parts of Berks and parts of Montgomery, right where they intersect, right near Bally. That is one of the names that pop up first. And then we switch you over to velocity mode. This was our old locator here when it was a little bit more well defined. So again, this is going to be staying in effect for us until 5:15. We have at least another 3 minutes left to go. So I'm going to just take off some of these queries here so we get a clear picture of what we're seeing. We also want to switch you over. This is our debris tracker, and just try to look for any debris flying. What you tend to see when we look at this particular model is our correlation coefficient. We're looking for any green or blue flying within. So similar and dissimilar. It tends to show us a nice debris ball when we have a very organized tornado that is moving through. We are not finding that right now within this particular thunderstorm cell. That is actually technically good news for us. So as we look again at our rotation tracker within your tornado warning, We also like to see when everything is one color. So we're all seeing green right now, which when you look at green, that means it's moving away from the radar. Anytime we see red, or it's moving towards the radar, anytime we see red, it's moving away. So we're looking for a couplet, which indicates rotating wind speeds. But again, the National Weather Service is sticking with this tornado warning. We know that this cell is tracking to the east at 25 miles per hour. We still want to call off any neighborhoods that are within this warning, just so you can be prepared. And we even can head down into street mode, and we can show you areas like Butler Valley Gulfport, County Line Road. You're within this tornado warning, so you still want to stay weather aware. We can also switch you over here and look a little bit closer at just the radar shot, which is just indicating our rain. And again, we still have that tornado warning in effect. These are our storm tracks. It shows potentially early detection of another cell that could be rotating. And right now, our biggest concern for the next 2 minutes is anyone that is within that tornado warning. So again, we know that you're dealing with heavy downpours over areas like Hereford, closer to Valley, down towards 100, Route 100 here, Neatic. Then we'll show you towards Pleasant Run.
And Brittney, sorry to interrupt you
Yes.
here. Just word from the National Weather Service. They have officially expired the tornado warning.
Okay.
They said they were going to let it go until 5:15. They've let it go a couple of minutes early. They're saying this just now, this moment, that some broadening and further weakening rotation has occurred in southern Lehigh County. So we know that the tornado warning no longer in place. It will gradually drop off of our radar system behind us. And the National Weather Service is also indicating something we talked about 5 minutes ago, too, is that now the bigger threat with this in particular cell, strong straight line winds as these storms continue to push through the Lehigh Valley into Upper Bucks County. But the breaking news right now is that the tornado warning has been allowed to expire for portions of northwestern Montgomery County into Berks County. Still, these storms are strong, and even though the tornado warning is no longer in place, and we no longer have a tornado warning for any of our neighborhoods, we still have strong storms, and Brittney did a great job of pointing this out. We are not done just yet. Our first alert remains in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. We're going to have more severe weather coverage as we go throughout the rest of this evening. We will be right back with more NBC 10 News. Stay right here with us.